Be eaters, they getting exposed. Can't fall in love or I cannot propose. Gang get into it and run it through hoes. She fuck up her knees for the team like D-Rose. I pop a flat, then I get in my mode. Don't play by the rules, but
What's good, y'all, man? It's OTD Beast Boy, and I'm back in here with another video for y'all, man. You feel me? Today, I got something different for y'all, man. I got a reaction video for y'all. We're gonna be reacting to For Honor Year 6 Season 4 trailer for the new season that's gonna pop out or whatever. It's called Shattered Fates. So we finna watch the trailer for this shit, man. Let's get into it.
Fate is the one true enemy. A warrior that can't be fought or predicted. Yet in the libraries of Arabia, there is a sphere that tells the histories of tomorrow, hidden by a wise and beloved sultana.
So the season in like Arabia type shit.
It is mine. I have seen a prophecy, a secret for Horkos and us alone. Victory is in our grasp, and fate will be written by my hand.
Who the fuck? Oh, Black Pirate. That's a Black Pirate skin. Punched his ass.
Heathmore's destiny laid bare, drawn from a feather, dipped in blood.
Damn, this real combat. Hold on. Executed his ass. Damn. Damn. Niggas dying. Damn, that pirate shit looked it raw. Okay. Alright, that should look fire. Now, y'all, we also gonna get into the motherfucking we're also going to go and get into the patch notes too. So we're gonna check that shit out too, y'all. What's good, y'all, man? We back in here for the patch notes, man. We finna start it right now. We looking at these weapons and stuff, man. They alright, you know. I don't really care for that. That's not what we here for. You already know. Patch notes. Let me move this for y'all. My bad. And so all we worried about is these patch notes, man.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined now by Mr. JC, our Lord and Savior. JC, how you doing today?
This is what the team lead look like, huh?
I'm doing great. Awesome. I'm about to eat all
that's
the
what the community developer look like.
So yeah, we've got a we got a lot.
I wonder how heavily they really be playing this shit.
Patchy notes to talk about.
Balance updates.
So yeah, let's start off with hero improvements. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense for me. All right. So
damn.
We're gonna start with Lawbringer, right?
Front dodge.
For Lawbringer, we've adjusted the speed of his dodge shove attacks, right? So front dodge shove is now 500 ms. It used to be 700. The side one is 533 rather, down from 700. And we've also updated the recovery for them to be 700 instead of 4. Basically, at the speed they were at, they weren't really functional as openers or dodge attacks. So by doing this, we're really hoping to get Lawbringer a bit more opening ability. But to compensate, so the idea we had before is that they were safe when they were dodged or whatever. They were like really, really difficult to punish, but they were really easy to avoid. So now we're trying to do the opposite, like we do with every other hero, which is they're harder to avoid, but they're easier to punish. So that's what we're doing.
Man, they should have motherfucking gave him a whole rework and made his moveset smooth as fuck.
Yeah, quite a bit.
But I'll settle for the push for now.
All right, Nusha. Right? So Echo Strike is now unblockable. Now, if you don't really know Nusha that much, I'm sure chat right now is freaking out a little bit. Echo Strike is her deflect attack, right? So Echo Strike is now unblockable, which means that it will no longer be auto block if you don't change your stance or whatever you do when you perform it. So it'll always land, which is awesome. It's a really good quality of life change for Nusha. And it also deals 20 damage. It used to deal like a really, really high amount of damage because you had to kind of like do some shenanigans to make it work. With this, at least, it'll always land. 20 damage is in line with what we have with a lot of deflect attacks. So this should work quite well. It's way better. So we should get there quite well. We've also increased.
I don't know much about Nixia at all. Or they just said it's Nusha, but I'm sticking with Nixia. I don't give a fuck.
Again, like we want to give Nusha a little bit an easier time to get into her chains, get into opponents. If something is blocked from external front dodge into light or whatever, then you have a bit more chance of getting into somebody's face and be able to defeat them.
Updated weapon trajectories for all side heavy attacks to better match their weapon visuals.
So it used to be at 300 MS static. Now it's fun. It's 100 to 400.
And this season comes out December 15th.
Gives you more versatility there. That works really, really well. And on top of that, we've also updated all of her weapon trajectories for side heavy attacks to match her weapons visuals a little bit better. And to be fair, they're also a little bit bigger than her weapons to give her better anti-gank. One of the problems that Nusha has, on top of being a reflex guard hero, is that it's kind of hard to defend yourself when you get a bunch of people jumping onto you.
Shit,
so now you should be able to do your side heavies and get some people off of you at least a little bit more. So that should help there also a little bit and get her like a little bit higher up. Like she's not going to be like, you know, the end all be all character, but at least those are really, really nice quality of life changes here for us.
Yeah, I'm so pumped because I've seen the comment of like give Nusha an unblockable for literally years now. So it's so good to see it actually happening.
I'm super happy about it. Yes.
Peacekeeper.
All right, now,
we didn't forget her.
Yeah. Peacekeeper, right? So for Peacekeeper, we focused a bit on making her dodge attacks or side dodge attacks be a bit safer, right? So side step strike, which is a side dodge heavy, used to have like 700 MS of recovery on miss. A lot of people were able to kind of like side dodge into guard break on reaction, which was kind of bad. So we've really, really lowered the recovery of that attack by quite a bit on miss and on block, or not into block and on hit, to make sure that, you know, the move is a lot safer to use in a lot of situations. And as well, the riposting stab, which is a deflect attack, now there's a medium hit reaction instead of a light, so you get better from advantage afterwards. If you do nothing, you're from advantage. If you want to go into chains or whatever, you get better mix up afterwards. And it also has a lower recovery on hits, now 400 MS. So it used to be longer. Again, here we're trying to give Peacekeepers attacks, like a lot of her dodge stuff and her deflect stuff, to be a bit safer, be more usable, and have like a bit more utility in different situations.
PK mains rejoice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right, now Raider nerfs. So Raider is a character that's still a bit overperforming, and we wanted to make sure that the
they
hero
nerfing Raider.
down a little bit. Not
Stamina pool only down 10.
A little bit, and so finding the hero is going to be
Chain top heavy now deals 28.
So first off, the stamina pool is now 120, which is like the standard stamina pool for most heroes. It used to be at 130, and on top of having a lot of soft feints, Raider has feels like he never runs out of stamina. So at 120,
Facts.
It's gonna help that. It's gonna alleviate that a little bit. It's not like he still is really stamina efficient, but it's not. I have infinite stamina now, so that should make a bit difference. And then we've nerfed a lot of his attacks for their damage down a little bit, right? So chain top heavy now deals 28, chain side heavy now deals 26. So they used to deal 30 and 27, mostly because the finishers now deal 30 and 28. And the zone attack and chains also deals 28. So the idea here is that we want to cap damage.
Yeah, his damage was up there.
Like we've been doing
32.
Quite often. And so we wanted to have Raider's damage to be a little bit more in line with what other heroes have. On top of the hero having like really huge trajectories, hitting a bunch of different people, getting to a lot of stuff. So that should really help quite a bit in the situation there and be less frustrating to fight against Raider. So that should be pretty good for everybody involved.
Yeah, just get him back down into like a decent tier.
Yeah.
You're trying to nerf my man Raider.
A tier.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's really just a case of how do we make the hero less frustrating to fight against without annihilating him, right? So that's kind of like the big deal here.
No,
Yeah, more like for Raider.
Niggas nerf Pirate, bro. As soon as I start trying to fuck with her, that's crazy.
So, okay, so then pirate nerfs. So we're doing one last round for now, at least, of pirate nerfs. So walk the plank now deals 24 damage instead of 27. Again, it's to lower the damage output of walk the plank. You get a guaranteed 5
Walk
damage
the plank
shot
now
afterwards.
feeds 30
All those dodge
revenge.
cancels, all that sort of stuff.
This
So we
shit's
wanted to make sure
stupid.
that the move is still good, it's still usable, but at the same time, it doesn't do like way too much damage.
Bro,
But we
pirate.
also
I feel like
adjusted how much
pirate's damage
revenge it
wasn't that
feeds
like
to
crazy
30.
anyways.
So it's as if it dealt 30 damage, but it deals 24 in terms of revenge only. So again, we want to like make sure the ganks with pirates are a little bit less effective. So that's one big way to have that, to crank it up a little bit, just enough that okay, well, it still works. They're still good, but it's gonna be much more difficult to do repeated ganks, repeated walk the planks back and back and back to be able to kill
Yeah,
somebody.
they
To
trying
go
to
from
make
100
me
to
now
0
play
really
pirate.
efficient.
That shit crazy.
We've also lowered the damage of Cavalier Dance to 12. That's front dodge heavy. It used to deal 14. Again, a lot of these things are we're tweaking the damage here to make sure that like pirate has different choices and different options, and some of them have drawbacks and some of them have benefits, right? So when we designed pirate, a lot of what we were going for was have her have a lot of different options at any point in her kit. That's why there's the dodge cancels. You can dodge into side heavies, front heavies. You can go to walk the plank. A lot of different things, and because those options were quite strong, we're doing a bit too much damage. It kind of made the choice less impactful, right? So now if you want to go into a front dodge heavy and then get the armor, get the extra damage, get the flow going, well, you're gonna have to sacrifice a little bit more damage. If you're going to walk the plank, yeah, it deals more damage. It deals much more damage than going Cavalier Dance, but
I mean,
like
I
there's those
guess,
trade-offs here that we
yeah.
really want to focus and really have an emphasis on player choice and expression and going, well, I
No,
play
no,
pirate
I
this
feel
way, you
like
play
pirate
that
didn't
way,
have that
and
much
so it's a little
choice.
bit
I
different.
don't really know.
That's the part of that nerf, and then the next one is a nerf, but it's also more of a bug fix, which is chaining timings from every single attack that leads to pistol blast on miss, right? So only when you miss with your attack, the chaining timings are 300 ms up from 200, and that is because we had an issue that if your attack trajectory would hit an opponent after your miss timing on somebody, or even after you hit your main target, or if something happened and you hit an off target afterwards, you could target swap to them and then do a pistol blast, and that pistol blast would be guaranteed because the chaining timing was really short. I've seen a lot of people talk about this on Reddit. We've had
Man, I
discussions
need
with
to
pro
use
players
Reddit.
there. So with that being at 300 instead of 200, should really eliminate those situations and make sure that character is a lot more fair to fight against and get into like that better feeling of fighting a pirate. I know some players find her like oppressing and difficult to fight against. So hopefully these changes will really help in getting that level down a little bit and make the character still feel good, but not feel as bad to play against.
I guess.
I
Oh,
bet
no,
JC,
man.
I was so enjoying glitch swapping, shooting everyone in the face.
Right?
Why would you take this away from me?
Literally.
I don't know. I'm
They
not.
know I need to blast.
it's
Why
a
would they
good
take
change.
this away
Yeah,
from
you needed
me?
to stop.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to other improvements that are a bit more
Warlord.
miscellaneous. So Warlord, uninterruptible stance. That's armor for people who don't know yet. On Warlord's heavy finishers, now it starts at 100 ms. It used to be 300. So at 100, it'll help the hero be a little bit better in group fights.
Warlord's
Be able to
heavies
use
is
those heavy finishers
faster.
a bit more efficiently.
Heavy
We've also done,
finishers now
another
start
change
at
to
100
Centurion.
ms.
So now there's two things, right? So every single move.
I don't
that
know
could
too much
chain
about the
to
MS
jab
shit.
on hit or
I'm
block
pretty sure
can
the higher is
also now
longer.
chain to jab on miss. So you can do now jab light rather, and if your opponent dodges it, you can go to jab afterwards. So that makes a bit of a difference here. Like it gives Centurion better ways to go into the character's mix-ups and get into a bunch of different things there. So that's really good. And we've also updated some other things to get that jab and the punch to really feel better and have track dodges better.
Hell
To get
no.
that to
That's
work,
the.
we had to do two changes.
Why the fuck would they need to
First,
track
I'm
a
gonna go to the
dodge?
second one because it's a little bit more complicated, but basically the maximum charge time
See.
for jab is now 1000 ms, up from 800. This might seem like a nerf.
It's like, bro, if I'm
but
dodging,
in actuality,
then I'm
if
dodging.
we
I
wanted
shouldn't
it to
get
really
hit. You shouldn't make it harder for
correctly
me to,
track opponents that are
or like
early
easier
dodging,
for me to get hit,
we
even
needed to
when I'm
have that
dodging.
timing there. So you're going to charge for a little bit longer.
Like I get it, there's a
But
certain
to compensate,
time,
on top of
like
this, the
time
minimum
frame where you're
charge
supposed to
is now
dodge and shit. But
300
it's like,
instead of 4, which means that in a lot of situations, people are gonna have to dodge jab a little bit more on read than on reaction.
I don't even know
because you can have
what
a
that
little bit
move
less
is for
time to react
Kyoshin.
to it, and then them dodging earlier means that the full charge they're gonna have is gonna be a lot more likely to hit them. So I know there was like a lot of discussion about this, that we had fixed it, we had done a lot of changes to help it, but it was still situations where it wasn't working properly. So with this, it should be working properly in most situations. So it's really gonna help.
They need to
those,
nerf
like,
and
really
no
weird
bullshit,
edge
low
cases,
key. We're
that happen
fucking
with
every
it.
damn light does bleed. Like fuck.
Charging.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, next up, Gladiator. I know a lot of people have been asking for this, and we've actually brought it back. So Fushina Ictus, which is toe stab, we've brought back the fact that it unbalances opponents that are out of stamina, and we brought back the old animation where you hit them in the toes, punch them in the face.
So good.
Yeah, I know people were really sad when we removed it, and we kind of had to remove it when we did that rework, because otherwise it created situations where Gladiator was way too strong and somebody was out of stamina. You can do like, I don't remember how much, but an incredibly high amount of damage. But now that we've actually patched in and changed the way that stamina gets back to full whenever you get up, it means that whenever you land a Fushina Ictus and your opponent falls down, they're going to get back up to full stamina, and you're not going to be able to go back into that mix-up over and over and over and over again.
Damn.
So that should be quite a
That
difference here. It
sucks.
should be really interesting.
I remember when Gladiator was my nigga, man. My first main. Glad.
Like the full box lens heavy. Now costs 12 stamina.
He was the first
instead
character I
of
bought.
20.
Real talk.
We wanted to make sure that Kyoshin had a bit more options.
If y'all niggas want some Glad gameplay, let me know.
Efficient rather to be able to open up opponents. So that's a big change here. 8 stamina doesn't seem like much, but it's actually a big deal in a lot of situations.
Oh yeah.
So good. Yeah. Zanhu. So a bit of a nerf to his to the character's heavy finisher's damage. They now deal 28 instead of 32. So first of all, 32 was too high, regardless, right? And then we picked 28 and we went down to that level because Zanhu has a feat called Winner's Advantage. And we don't want to nerf Winner's Advantage and remove a lot of effectiveness from it, but it causes your next attack to deal a lot of damage, which meant that Zanhu, after pretty much every single hit, could deal like something like close to 38 damage. So by reducing the damage of his heavy finisher's baseline, we also lower the damage that Winner's Advantage ends up giving for Zanhu. It still goes above 30, but it doesn't go massively above 30. It doesn't go to like 38 or something, which was like completely crazy. So that's a little bit lower, should help out a lot in those situations. And last but not least, for Shinobi, the dodge kicks now pinned for 800 MS instead of 1100.
So they're faster.
Should help. That should help a lot of gang situations. Like Shinobi was able to use the dodge kicks, pin opponents with them, get their opponents to be like in that pin reaction for a long period of time, get a guaranteed heavy from an ally. You barely had to time it. It was pretty easy to do. With this, you need to be able to throw that heavy quicker, earlier, a bit more on read almost. So it's a lot harder it should be harder to set up these ganks, but the attacks are still guaranteed afterwards, like for Shinobi. So it shouldn't impact the hero in 1v1 situations, but in gank situations it should make a big difference. And on top of that, Shadow Strike, which is the light attack that's guaranteed after a parry, now deals 14 damage instead of 18. And we made that change because that attack leads to a really potent mix-up for Shinobi, and so it gave Shinobi a bit too much damage, a bit too much pressure whenever he was landing like even a heavy parry, right? So it dealt too much damage baseline, and then on top of that was giving a really good mix-up. So we lowered it down to a more normal level of damage for a light parry punish, for a heavy parry punish rather, and you get like more standard damage.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to not basically be like just a ham slapping samurai nail gun anymore. Just like it was out of control.
Yeah, that needed to change there. So that was pretty cool.
FOV
Okay.
slider now.
So we have other improvements, right?
Now available on console.
This is a big one. Yeah, we have the FOV slider, which is now available on console. So that's really, really good. It's a great improvement. So we're gonna show you like 2 different screens, what it looks like. This is the default field of view, right? So this is what it looks like when you're normally playing on console, and you can't change it. On PC you can, but on console you absolutely cannot. You could not change it, but we've made it so you can be changed. So we could go to the next slide and see this is what it's at its largest setting. So you see that the difference is the camera's a bit more pulled back. You see wider. You see more of your characters like legs and stuff. So it really helps.
I'm definitely finna start using that large POV, bro. Or FOV, whatever the fuck they want to call it, field of view. But I'm definitely finna start using that probably. That shit looks way better, you know what I'm saying? You can see all the people too when they try to gank you and shit. It's not super zooming in. I fuck with that. Might be different to try.
Lifetime of the game, because I know back in the day this used to wreck consoles, and now like it's no problem.
Yeah,
so,
we're good.
Huzzah!
Awesome.
Execution improvements.
Yeah. Okay, another thing we're doing in this patch is we're improving some things about executions. So if you knew, or maybe you didn't know, so I'll explain it to you, right? Is that some executions, not all of them, mostly the newer ones we've been doing, some of them from the early heroes didn't really have that issue, but a lot of executions would force you to go out of lock when the end, either if you got hit or at the end of the execution, they'd force you to go out of lock. Created a lot of situations where opponents could come in and get multiple hits on you because you were out of luck, and you get different hit reaction when you're out of luck, and then it was hard to get to get by
I'm
that.
not really sure what
So
he's
we've
talking
removed that
about.
completely. So no execution should ever force you to go out of luck when the end. That was a
I think
big
he's talking
undertaking. We had
about
to
like
go
when they
through
be like
every single
emoting and shit.
execution that we have in the game. We had Ben, who some of you probably know, go into all of them and like do a lot of changes there. So like kudos to him. It was a lot of work there, and a lot of work on the tech team as well to make sure that we had like tools to really test that out. And the other thing is that some executions also forced a specific stance when they ended. So it would force you to go like top, left, or right. And it would really force it.
no.
That's also been removed, so you always stay in the stance you were in if you keep locked in when you perform an execution. So again, that's a lot of like quality of life improvements there, but it's very important so that your executions are actually safer and you don't get really heavily punished for performing an execution.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use them all.
Valkyrie
Yeah,
and
more than one
Tyandi.
Yeah. All right, and then I'm super happy to say that the Valkyrie and Tiandi reworks are now live. So super cool. We're really happy. The testing grounds went well. We got a lot of feedback on both heroes, so we're super hyped. So Valkyrie stayed relatively the same. Like most of the things are unchanged. We know that the hero, like a lot of the feedback we've gotten for Valkyrie was that the hero felt maybe like a little bit different, a little bit odd to play, but then a lot of
Why
people
they keep saying
also
it's
mentioned that
pre-recorded?
once you do get into the groove and you get to understand the character, she works way better, and it's actually interesting. It's a new mix-up that we've put in, so we've decided to keep her mostly as is. There's some improvements you can see in the patch notes. You'll see like the changes that we've made from the current, like from the previous live Valkyrie to the new live Valkyrie. We're not gonna go into details because it's too much stuff there. It's gonna take like we all have other things to do. I'd love to be here for 6 hours, but I think people would kill me. So that's it for Valkyrie. But for Tiandi, I have a couple of notes, so we can go. So for Tiandi, the hero also, the rework went really well, right? People really liked it. There was a lot of stuff there that was appreciated, a lot of quality of life, a lot of good stuff, but there was also some more negative feedbacks that we've addressed. So first off, we've reverted the dragon dodge changes. So that means that in the testing grounds, we had tried to speed up the side dodge heavies a little bit so that they could be more effectively used as dodge attacks and not necessarily as repositioning tools. But as it turns out, a lot of players actually gave us feedback that felt bad. The soft feints from it were hard to do, and players were mostly using it to reposition, and they really missed that functionality. So we heard you, we listened. It's back to how it was. So
Another thing, I ain't really play Tyandi that much either to know what's changed off of
about
him.
things that people don't like. And we're like, well,
But shit,
okay,
we
you know,
might,
it's
you know,
reasonable.
fuck around and have
We're
to
gonna
try
go
out all
back.
the characters and see what's
But
up,
this
man.
is for
Fuck it.
Tiandi, if you want to be able to do like more reliable side dodge attacks, you have to do tiger dodges, but you have to delay them a little bit, which was still possible beforehand. So if you were doing it before, you can still do it now. It won't be a problem. We've also reverted the dragon kick soft feint to dodge removal, right? So by that I mean right now on the live Tiandi, if you do a dragon kick, you can soft feint the dragon kick into a dodge, and you can go into like tiger dodges or whatever you wanted to do. And so we had removed that in the testing grounds because our feeling was you could feint dragon kick, so you no longer needed that soft feint. But again, a lot of players were like, well, no, actually, we really like to have that soft feint. So we kept it. To be fair, dragon dodge can still be hard feinted, and it might be better in some cases to hard feint because then you can get parries off of people dodge attacking.
Yeah,
So
I
might even
don't
be
know.
better.
I don't
But
play
if you want to
Tyandi.
soft feint to a dodge
Like,
and go into tiger
He
dodge, or
cool
do
and
whatever
shit,
you
but
like
I
to do,
don't use him
you
like
totally
that.
can now. So again, that was reverted. You can get into what you wanted to do, so that's good.
Have all the options.
Right, yeah. And then finally, we had changed the delay timing to top dragon dodge. So you could do it only a little bit later into the dodge. And that was because we didn't want to get into situations where you would do dragon kick into top Dragon Dodge, and then repeat over and over and over again, and get that kind of vortex feeling. We really wanted to encourage players to use the new follow-up we've done for a Dragon Kick. But at the end of the day, this had a really big negative impact on the safety of some attacks. People like to do like a palm strike into a top heavy before the rework that had armor, and so with this, you can actually do palm, front dodge, Dragon Dodge, and get armor back earlier to be able to trade with different things, right? So that was like, it was a bit of a puzzle there to get that going into where exactly things needed to fit. But this means that sometimes after a Dragon Kick, you can land a Dragon Dodge if somebody hit a wall or whatever. But in most cases, you shouldn't be able to. We did a couple of other tweaks. So I would say go look at the patch notes, look at what we've done, and you can test it out and see for yourself. But we really have a good feeling on Tiandi and Valkyrie both.
It's like, bro, he supposed to be explaining that shit. He talking about some, go check in the patch notes, go see for yourself. Like, isn't that the whole point of this whole shit? This whole video, this whole live thing that y'all got going on.
It's amazing, right? And so big kudos to the team. I know everybody worked super hard on this. And I want to thank the community. Like, a lot of players gave us a lot of good feedback on this. Exactly the kind of feedback we'd like to see. And even in the case of Valkyrie, when it's
I'm not sure.
I prefer the old Valkyrie or whatever. But then
talking about the motherfucking,
that's why those testing rounds run for a week, and then people can give like more feedback and go, well, actually, it feels different, but in a good way and not in a bad way. So we really pushed for this, and I think we have like, I think, the best iteration of Valkyrie we've ever had. So I'm super hyped about that.
Yeah, and it just underscores like the importance of testing grounds and the feedback that we get from that, and players being like really honestly specific with their feedback, because you know, general feedback of like, oh, I don't like it is fine, but it really helps us when, you know, you're like, oh well, I really liked XYZ, but hone in and fine.
Keep it up. I can't wait to get people.
Right, well, thank you so much. Many remains.
Alright.
I'm gonna skedaddle. I'll be back.
Alright, y'all. So this seems like that's the end of the live, or all the patch notes and shit for the characters and shit, man. If y'all enjoyed this, man, y'all enjoyed sitting here and chilling and watching the patch notes with me and motherfucking checking out the trailer and shit, and y'all want me to do more videos like this in the future, let me know in the comments, man. Subscribe, man, if all of y'all are new. If any of y'all are new, man, subscribe to the channel, man. We got more heat coming. We play a whole bunch of games, man. Let me know, man, if y'all fuck with this stuff for real, you know, we could do more videos like this in the future. But until then, man, I'm gonna catch y'all niggas in the next one. Doses.
Knock off his head, we don't aim for the arm. Knock off his head, we don't aim for the arm, bitch.